So on the East Coast, there's Ellis Island. Ellis Island opened up in 1892 in the New York Harbor to manage the huge influx of immigrants coming to America. So 40% of Americans are descendants from the immigrants that came through Ellis Island. But did you know there's a Ellis Island of the West Coast? Here comes a bunch of birds. Welcome to Choose Adventure, California style. My name's Paul. Today, let's check out Angel Island. Angel Island, or Ellis Island of the West, is situated in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. I had no idea its historical significance from the Civil War to the Cold War until recently. If you're fortunate enough to make it to Angel Island, here's how you get there. Right by the famous Pier 39 is Pier 41. That yellow building is the Gold and Blue Fleet where you're going to buy your tickets. You could also do it online. You're going to then go by Ben & Jerry's to gates 1 and 2. Gate 2 here, we're going to board with our bikes. I suggest bringing a bike to the island, as the last time I was there, I literally ran around the island because I didn't have enough time to see everything. See as much as I can. I'm literally running. There's so much to film. I hope I make it. The way to do it would be to rent a bike. Good reason to bring a bike to the island or rent a bike is because there's so much to see. It's overwhelming. I had to run the 5.3 perimeter trail in order to make the last ferry of the day off the island, or I was going to be stuck ordering a water taxi. The boat ride's about 30 minutes from Pier 41 to Angel Island. You get to pass by the historic Alcatraz Island and get pretty unique views of the Golden Gate Bridge on your way. Nearing the island, you start to get glimpses of old historic buildings, and you start to realize there's a lot more to this island than just camping and hiking. In 1775, a Spanish navigator sailed to San Carlos into San Francisco Bay and anchored what is now Ayala Cove right here with his pilot and developed the first known map of San Francisco Bay. Land ho! Coming off the boat by the bathrooms, which are nice and well maintained, I suggest grabbing a map right there. There's also informative information such as when the boats depart right there on the whiteboard. Deer and raccoon are all over the island and they're not afraid of people. When I was running around the island last time, the deer were not spooked by me running around. I was able to come pretty close to a lot of them. I would honestly say it's about 4 to 6 hours to actually go off trail and sightsee everything. Here's me thinking confidently last week I could see everything in 2 hours. So according to what I've heard and the signs, it says it should take about 2.5 hours to do this 5.3 mile perimeter hike. Boat's gonna be back in 2 hours. That time frame's for your average man, and I am no average man. They say the first man to live to be 150 has already been born. I believe I am that man. Alright, now that information's out of the way, we got bikes, we got a little bit more time on our hands. Let's go ahead and go clockwise around Angel Island, and I'll show you guys a little bit about its historical significance. Another thing to keep in mind is it's not just 5.3 miles on flat ground, there's some pretty steep hills along this route. And we made it to our first destination here on Angel Island. We just walked through the gates and we're gonna head down to Immigration Station, a National Historic Landmark to the United States. This is where you would come if you were an immigrant to the West Coast and get processed. But unlike Ellis Island, where you could get processed in a matter of hours, here you could be detained for months, some even for years. Over 80 countries and 1 million people passed through Angel Island. However, it was primarily the Chinese, and it was very problematic for the Chinese due to the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 that Congress passed. The only law to target immigrants of a specific race, it barred Chinese laborers from entering the United States. This here is the fenced recreation yard. It would open at breakfast and then stay open until dinner. Women had slightly more freedom and could walk around the grounds when accompanied by a female guard. The detention barracks were built for Chinese and Japanese men and women. Shortly after opening, all women were moved to the administration building. Because of the restrictive exclusion laws, Chinese immigrants were detained the longest. Some of them carved poetry into the barracks walls to voice their opinions or lament their fate. I would definitely advise to get there on a day when the museum's open. Unfortunately, I didn't look at the schedule and the museum was closed when I was there, but you can go inside and see what it was like, their living conditions back in the day. So right here would have been where the administration building was, but it is now gone. These are the original palm trees. They've been here for over 100 years. This bell was used as a fog bell to warn boats. However, it was also used to notify the people on the island when new immigrants had arrived. For thousands of years, Native Americans lived here. Abundant food sources, proximity to fresh and salt water, and a natural landing area made this protected cove one of the best places to live on the island. The steam heat produced by large oil-fired boilers in this building kept employees and detainees warm on chilly days. Okay, we're gonna head up to see more at the immigration station. Walking up the stairs right by the Immigration Heritage Wall. So coming up those stairs is one of the old hospitals on the island. This is the first stop if you are an immigrant. They had to check you out. If you had any kind of parasites or anything like that, you're immediately deported back. Opened in 1910, the Angel Island Immigration Station Hospital had separate doors and stairways during the first few years of its operation. Identified as European and non-European, the two entrances were meant to divide immigrants based on race. Inside, different wards were used to keep whites and Asians apart. The facade has been restored to its original design as a reminder of the racial prejudice of the time. This is located right next to the hospital. In 1979, local restaurant owner Trader donated this monument in recognition of the contributions of Chinese immigrants to America. Walking back up the hill out of Immigration Station, you'll see these old ruins of cottages for essential staff and families that used to live on the island. All right, we're leaving Immigration Station and we're going to our next destination, Fort McDowell. Leaving Immigration Station, it's worth noting in the early 1900s, immigrants who brought money with them or who had family who could support them were admitted into the country more often than poor immigrants. There is backcountry camping here on the island. Someday I do hope to do that. Right by the firehouse is where you'll find one of the entrances to get up to the campgrounds. All right, here we are. We made it to our next destination, Fort McDowell. Let's check this place out. While Brittany and I explore one of these old hospitals here on the island, I'll tell you a little bit about the East Garrison where we're about to explore. During World War I, East Garrison served as a recruitment and replacement depot and discharge point for returning troops. Angel Island was the site for World War II soldiers heading toward the Pacific War Zone and a processing facility for prisoners of war. And then right behind this old hospital is the old chapel. Built in 1942, this chapel ministered to soldiers of all faiths. Following Perimeter Road, you'll find a fork in the road just after the hospital. It's worth it to go down left right there and explore, come back up, and follow Perimeter Trail onward. The building to the left of us is famous for serving food tastier than standard Army chow. This mess hall could seat 1,410 soldiers at one time. During World War II, there were 3 seatings for each meal, and the mess hall served more than 12,000 meals a day. The second floor of the mess hall was used for movie theater, dances, stage entertainment, and has a basketball court. This building here on our right-hand side is the Post Exchange, or PX, was built in 1910 to be a one-stop shopping place for soldiers at Fort McDowell. Doors open a little bit, but you can't see anything. It's pitch black in there. This concrete barracks building could house 686 men, built in 1911. And right by the old barracks is Corey Beach. Let's go check it out. Looks like there might be some cool views. About a week ago when I was here, I didn't even know this beach existed. Brittany was the one that pointed it out. I definitely suggest to go down to this beach and check it out. It's got amazing views. There was only 2 other people down there. Really a cool spot. Okay, we just came from Corey Beach. Now we're taking the other fork, back on Perimeter Trail. These spacious Mission Revival-style homes once housed Army officers and their families. Their gardens flourished with flowers. The overgrown cypress along Perimeter Road once formed a neatly trimmed hedge. So from the top of the road that we're on right now, we're looking back down at where we were, and here's an old baseball field where they used to play baseball. So these are all the buildings that the Rangers stay in when they're on the island. As you can see, they're a little fixed up and someone's taking care of the plants. So we're leaving Fort McDowell and we're headed to the Nike missile site. it to our next destination. Right across from Alcatraz on the island here at Angel Island is the old Nike site. The Army left Angel Island in 1946. It returned in 1954 to build a Nike missile site. Radar control was set up on Mount Livermore, and 3 sets of 4 Nike Ajax missiles were placed underground. Nike missiles were not armed with nuclear warheads, but were meant to shoot down planes carrying nuclear weapons. And this was all because of the fear during the Cold War. There's Alcatraz, mid-screen with my heavy breathing, San Francisco in the background. Beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. We're still completing the Grand Circle Tour here on Angel Island. However, some of the film and some of me talking is from when I ran around the island about a week ago. Me and Brittany had to race back on our bikes in order to make the ferry. One reason to make sure you have plenty of time to check out everything there is to see here on Angel Island. It says, trust your women, sleep till noon, keep your teeth, and grab the moon. It seems like most people go to Camp Reynolds or Immigration Station and they don't make it all the way around. Next time, I plan on having lunch right there at the bench, looking at these beautiful views of the bay. It's definitely worth it to make your way all the way around the island. We've arrived at the next location, the batteries. During the Civil War, the Army considered this an ideal location to set up guns to protect the San Francisco Bay. Angel Island's guns were part of a defense network that included Fort Point and Fort Alcatraz. Meant to be the last line of defense, they could fire on enemy ships that made it into the bay. These things were able to shoot up to 20 miles. They also planted vegetation on the roofs to camouflage the buildings. We didn't have time to go check out the batteries, definitely for the next trip, but here's the next location, the Crusher. This is where they would crush rocks to make the roads here on Angel Island. We made it to our next destination, Camp Reynolds, and just wait for these views. Okay, I'm gonna go off of Perimeter Road and then down here, gotta take a look. The building behind me is where they used to keep the mules, I believe. The Army used mule power on the island until 1930s to haul supplies, and this was in fact the barn that they stored the mules in. Alright, I'm gonna be quick about this. This is the largest collection of still standing wooden buildings from the Civil War era, and it's right here on Angel Island. Enlisted men enjoyed few privileges and even fewer comforts at Camp Reynolds. Officers lived in the houses lining the parade ground. With the post commander closest to the water, soldiers lived in barracks opposite Officers' Row. One comfort the Army did provide was a plentiful supply of fresh bread. Alright, on to the next location. I'm starting to feel like a soldier running around here. Alright, I see some buildings. Welcome to Camp Reynolds, West Garrison. I believe this is the old hospital. I'll probably need one if I keep running. This brick hospital, built in 1904, was the third hospital to be built for Camp Reynolds. The Army located hospitals treating ill or injured soldiers away from buildings housing healthy troops. Well, I hope you guys liked literally running around Angel Island with me and learning all about it. I'm definitely going to come back and explore more. Angel Island definitely has a lot of California gold. With that being said, now go have an adventure of your own. My name is Paul. Today's adventure brings us to Angel Island. I was talking like I have dentures. I said bring us. I'm gonna do it again. 90% of these bikes came from Sausalito. Ours are some of the closest to us. Took us a little while to get off the boat.